I am a consistent queen. Look at me go. Another video, another week. Look at us go. So, today we're going to jump straight into it. We're going to do describe image. The last time I did a describe image video was long before the changes in August. I think it was sometime in November of 2024. So, let's do a recap of describe image. And then, of course, I will do some demonstrations and show you how my technique works. And if it helps you, it helps you. Let's get straight into it. See you in a minute. All right, so make sure phone is on silent, coffee cup is out of the way. Okay. Hello and welcome back, everyone. My name is Rena, and I am from Perth, Isles and PT Tutoring. I'm a private tutor based in Perth, Western Australia, and I specialize in IELTS and PTE. And most of my videos, in fact, all my videos, focus on PTE academic because there is just a lot of information out there for IELTS. And I figured you guys don't need that much help with IELTS. There are some really amazing professionals out there who literally write the books and they make videos. So we will focus on PTE. Today we're going to focus on PTE academic describe an image. As usual, a little bit of a toot and then straight into demonstrations. I will see what platforms I can use today. Most likely ApeUni. We can even try AlfaPTE. We'll see how we go. Let's get straight into the two. Okay, so describe image. Without a doubt, the most important question type in the whole test. That is my very, very personal view. It is the single most important question in the speaking part of the test as well, right? It contributes up to 31% of your final speaking score. It is really, really important for you to know that. You will have to describe 5 to 6 images for any single test. You're given 25 seconds to prep. You look at an image and prepare a response, and then there's a beep. After the tone, you have to speak for about 40 seconds. My sweet spot is 35 to 38 seconds, right? And it contributes only to your speaking, right? And there's a whole group of images you can be given. But the one thing I need you guys to know is that you can be given any kind of image. You can be given, see over here on the diagram, you can see a line graph, bar graph, pie chart, a photograph of a scenery, a map, and a table. But there's so much more than just that. You can be given pie charts, which with multiple pie charts, you can be given multiple bar charts, you can be given pictures or photographs of people, of certain situations, not just scenery. It can be maps, not just with a plain map on it, it can have information on it. Anything that can be described, you can be given as an image. How is describe image scored, right? Your aim is to get 16 marks. And how do we get it? 5 marks for pronunciation, 5 marks of fluency, and as usual, for me, you know me, nothing has changed. Content is king. 6 marks for content. So 5 plus 5 plus 6 makes 16. Content is the single most, is the winner here. Out of, it gets 6 points out of the 16. But balance is the key, okay? I need you to produce really strong content while being smooth and having clear pronunciation, right? Clarity of thought equals clarity of speech. And this is really important, especially when you see the demonstrations. Okay? So if you are quite good at all three, you can pretty easily get 16 marks. The problem is all the practice platforms score you out of 90, right? And that's not easy because it doesn't quite break it down for you. Okay? But that's all right. We're going to talk more about it. So, I have a plan, and I know it's different from all my other wonderful friends and other tutors that are online. I like things to be simple, very structured, and effective. Okay, in that 25 seconds you have to prep, I want you to first identify exactly what kind of image you're looking at. Next, if there is a title, I want you to read the title, including subheadings if there are any. Next, this is where my interpretation differs from others. I want you to look at the image from the top to the bottom and then the left to right. top to bottom, left to right. Anytime you look at an image, that's how you're going to interpret it. Okay? You're going to take note of numbers and any values that might be important. It could be years, units, hours, percentages, whatever. If there is a value, you need to know it. You need to be able to pronounce it. Okay? And the sixth one is optional, as long as you prattle on, effectively. Some things that are unique about the images, whether it's a difference or a trend or certain extremes. That's all you need to look at in 25 seconds. What am I looking at? What is it called? Interpret it from the top to bottom, left to right. Are there numbers and values? What are they? And is there anything that jumps straight out at you when you look at it? Okay? Now you need to remember a good plan in 25 seconds leads to a good response in 40 seconds. The other thing I have noticed is I want you guys to stop talking at the 39-second mark. I have noticed a drop in scoring when you hit 40 and it just goes to the next. Something seems to go wrong with it. So let's stop talking at 39 seconds. If you have to stop at 35, that's fine. But 39 seconds is pretty much the limit. Okay? So, what do we do after the beep? You hear that beep, and then a lot of you just go, "Oh, I've planned it. I know what I'm going to do." And then you panic. Nope. I don't want you to panic. As soon as you hear the beep, you are going to attempt to stay focused. It is really hard, I know that, because you are starting to panic. And as I have mentioned in, I think, one of the previous videos when I was talking about why your speaking score is so low, being able to not panic and continue speaking even after making a mistake is really important, especially for described image and summarized group discussion. The first thing you're going to tell AI is what is the image. All right. The main thing you need to do is identify what the image is. If it's a photograph, say it's a photograph. If it's a line graph, say it's a line graph. If it's a bar chart, if it's a table, say the given image is a table or the table given is about. So then that brings us to step two. What is it about? Read the title, state the topic. If there are any subheadings, mention that as well. Okay? Next, you are going to describe what you see. And again, think of it as you giving an AI prompt. You are telling AI exactly what kind of image you want it to create for you, and this is how you're going to do it. I personally like describing things from top to bottom, left to right. This is what I'm seeing, and this is what I am observing, right? Try not to repeat information. And of course, no conclusion is needed. I don't want to hear any of that. Overall, it was a very beautiful image and I have learned lots from it. What a load of shite. I don't want any of that. There is no conclusion needed. You're going to talk about an image and that's all you're going to do. Your content should only be about the image. Any inferences or conclusions that you may make or assumptions, that's fine as long as it's directly related to the image. No conclusion needed. Okay? Remember, content is king, so you're going to focus on content, and then fluency and pronunciation come together. I always bundle them together because fluency is you speaking at a consistent, constant rate and volume, and pronunciation is all about the first letter of the word and the last letter of the word being heard and registered by AI. If you say after the beep, all the AI hears is after eat, right? It doesn't hear three separate words as opposed to after the beep. Okay, you need to let AI understand you. In order for AI to understand you, you need to speak clearly. In order to be clear, you need to be clear up here. Okay, now let's jump straight into some minor points before I go into demonstrations. So before I continue on to the demonstrations, we're going to do it really quickly, just run through really quickly. Okay? Number one, it is the most important question type in the whole exam. It is the most important question type in the speaking part of the test. It is the third question in the speaking test, which is part one. Part one consists of speaking and writing. That's all you need to know. Next, You are scored in a 655 format, which means your aim is to get 16 out of 16. 6 for content, 5 pronunciation, 5 for fluency. Okay? You need to do this question type 5 to 6 times. Yeah, most likely 6. We'll see how we go. I don't know. Next, it can be an image of anything. I can't even specify exactly what it could be. Line graphs, pie charts, bar graphs, infographics, photographs of people having dinner, whatever. If it's an image, you need to be able to describe it. And because it can be anything, I do like to follow the whole system where number one, identify the image. Number two, give us the title. Number three, observe it from top to bottom, left to right. Number four, notice anything unique and values. Four and five. Okay? All right, let's jump straight into demonstrations. See you in a minute. All right, I'm not even going to waste the time. The given image is a bar chart showing the expected city visits by country of origin for 2018 by thousands per year. On the left hand side are the countries Mexico, Canada, and USA. Each one of them has 4 bar charts. On the bottom, we can see the numbers 0 through to 120 in increments of 20. So 20, 40, 60, and so on. On the right hand side are the cities London, Paris, Madrid, and Istanbul, represented by blue, red, yellow, and green. For USA, most common was Paris. For Canada, most common was Istanbul. And for Mexico, most common was Madrid. Okay, so 38 seconds. Let's submit and see what it says. I don't actually know because I do think that I think it was at least one student that has had a problem with ApeUni. We'll see how we go. And it is obviously very slow. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, it says here 84 out of 90, which I'm pretty happy with. Okay, nothing to complain about. You can see the content, they didn't give me a full score, but again, I don't know whose AI to trust. This says 81 out of 90. Pronunciation, of course, 88 out of 90 because I'm being as clear as possible. Okay, let's do another one, shall we? So, of course, the camera died and it didn't record any of the ones that I have the screen plus recordings. Let's go do it all over again. One more time. We're going to do describe image and let's see how I go this time. Here we are on our ApeUni platform dashboard. Let's do one that has not been done very many times. Number of vehicles here, it's only been done once. I don't know if it's by myself or by my students. Let's find out. Oh, looks like I might have done this one before. Okay, so it's a line graph and we're just going to go top to bottom, left to right, and that's how we're going to describe it, okay? The given image is a line graph showing the number of vehicles licensed in millions in Britain. On the left-hand side, on the y-axis, there is the numbers 0, 10, 20, and 30, which are in the millions, and on the bottom axis, the x-axis is showing years 1994 through to 2016. In general, there are 3 different lines. Red represents petrol, blue represents diesel, and green represents alternative fuels. By far the highest is petrol at above 20 and dropping just below 20, and diesel slowly increasing. So I did 34 seconds. Let's see how I went. No fumbling, but it may not be happy with my content. I have noticed that sometimes ApeUni can be a little bit stingy with that. But if you watch other tutors' stuff, they'll say, oh, find 3 uniques and that's enough. I'm not sure about that anymore because sometimes they get really strict with content marking. It seems a little bit unfair, but that's where we're at. Let's find out how I did. Sorry, it's in real time, so you have to wait for my very slow internet to deal with this. Hopefully, the camera is still recording because I can't switch up. Here we go. So it said I got 87 out of 90. Content was the lowest score again, which is really weird. It says 81 out of 90, but of course, pronunciation and fluency 90 out of 90. I'm happy with that if you're happy with that. Let's move on to a different platform. Let's try Alpha PTE. I don't know if I have a Groovy account. We can even try that. All right, see you in a minute. Okay, so here I am on the Alpha PTE dashboard. Let's get straight into practicing. Describe image. Here we are. Okay. Ooh, there's a new one. The egg experiment. Now on ApeUni, the egg experiment seems to be everyone seems to be getting really low scores, mostly because they're marking us down on content. Let's see how I go with the egg experiment on Alpha PTE. All right, it says always use your USB headset with a microphone to get an accurate AI score. I'm not going to do that, but I might try it next. Okay, so I'm just going to jump straight into it. The given image shows the fresh egg test. It is an infographic showing four different jars. On the left hand side is the fresh egg, which sinks to the bottom, and on the extreme right hand side is the very old or rotten egg that floats right to the top of the water. In between, we have a 1 week old egg that floats only slightly, and the 2 to 3 weeks old egg that is floating right in the middle. The jars are all clear and filled with the same amount of water. Let's see. How does that work? Oh, so I submit. I don't even know how long I spoke for. I wasn't entirely sure. How does that work? All right, let's just see how I went. Maybe it'll be a really low, crappy score, and then I'm gonna have to plug in my microphone, which I don't want to do because it confuses my video stuff. All right, so it says here I got 84, and it was not happy with my pronunciation. 67 for pronunciation and 74 for content. Not great, but as you can see, the method works, right? So even without trying very hard, it says here I recorded just 28 seconds on whatever platform you use. If you describe something from the top to the bottom and left to right, tell the AI software exactly what you're looking at, you're still going to get a pretty high score. Let's go for another one on Alpha. Oh, there we go. A pie chart. I'm sure you've seen this on ApeUni as well. Let's jump straight into it. The given image shows two pie charts with the birth rates of males and females in a particular area. On the left-hand side is for the males, and on the right-hand side is for the females. On the bottom is the legend showing the days, Mondays through to Sunday. Monday is represented by pink, Tuesday orange, Wednesday yellow, Thursday green, Friday light blue, Saturday dark blue, and Sunday brown. For the males, it is clear that Thursday was the most common, and for the females, Monday was the least common. In general, both had Friday as a pretty common day. Who knows? Fingers crossed, my friends. Slow internet. Okay, so over here it gave me an 80 and a pretty low score for content, but fluency was pretty good. Pronunciation was how I don't know. I don't even know how that was bad pronunciation, but it's acceptable. Now, if you look at the fluency, it's 84. 74 for content. They seem to be equally marked, but it's not because in reality it's content 6, fluency 5, pronunciation 5. Content is king, so that obviously pulled down the overall score. Hello, friends! So I have signed up with Language Academy for the first time, and I will try out this platform for a couple of days. Let's see how we go. So far, so good. I have practiced it 3 times. No, I don't want to save my exam date. Scram. So let's practice a little bit. Let's keep using the platform. So far, it has not given me the scores that I want, but that's okay because it's obviously a new platform and I need to get used to it. So let's take a look at this one, Earth's Cosmic Journey. I've never used this platform before. Today's the first time I've signed up for it. I haven't paid for anything. I wasn't told to sign up for it, but I just thought, let's try a different platform to see how we're going. Okay, Wow, that's a very colorful image. Let's go. The given image is a colorful comic style image of an astronaut on a planet. On the top left hand side are planets and stars, including a meteor or comet. There is a telescope and a giant satellite head. On the top middle side is a big rocket. The astronaut himself is faceless and it appears to be in a pose and thinking aloud with a word box. Earth is visible in the distance, and there is a rover on the right hand side. At the top is another small shuttle. It's a very colorful image. Right, so I don't know how I went. It says 37. Let's submit, see how we went. I suspect it's going to give me a really low score because this will be the fourth question that I'm attempting and it keeps giving me really low scores. It could be because I'm not plugged in. But again, it doesn't really matter. It's the method that I want you guys to see. Okay? It doesn't matter what platform you choose to practice with. The main thing is you doing something that gives you the highest scores and allows you to speak fluently and well. Okay, so over here, it gave me fluency 66. Meh. Pronunciation 86, which is correct. I am a native English speaker. And content 84, which is also correct. I did cover a lot of content, but it gave me really crappy marks for fluency, which is not okay. In general, I'm all right with this 79 out of 90. Let's try another question. Okay, how do I do this? Right? Oh, no. Ooh, monthly predictions. That's good. Describe image. Smart home devices. Let's do that one. Okay, so it's a pie chart. I'm sure I've seen this image before, have I? I'm not entirely sure. Let's jump straight into it, shall we, my friends? Top to bottom, left to right. The given image is a pie chart showing the market share of smart home devices. Beginning on the left hand side are smart speakers at 25%, smart bulbs are 30%, smart security 20%, and smart thermostats 15%. The lowest are others at just 10%. The colors represented are blue, green, orange, light blue, and pink. I don't really have much else to say. 25 seconds. I don't know. Let's see how we go. How do we feel about this platform? Not too bad. I didn't pay anything, and it seems to be allowing me to use the AI marking, which is pretty cool. Much appreciated. It didn't say if it was a trial or anything. Leave a comment down below and tell me how many of you use this platform and how many of it would be nice to know if any of you are using Language Academy. Those of you who are using ApeUni or AlfaPTE, let me know what you're using. Here you can see that it gave me 90 out of 90 for pronunciation. Fluency was 84, and then content it gave me crap. Well, I admit my content wasn't great. It was 66. But because it again, it seems to rank fluency highest, which is wrong. Fluency is 5, pronunciation is 5, and content is 6. In reality, I suspect the score should be slightly lower, even. Okay, but in general, I'm happy with that. You can see that my method works. And if you are getting, let me just cancel this for a second. And maybe let's do another one. I love trying out new platforms. Let's do another monthly prediction for describe image. I'm super impressed that I'm using this for free, which is really strange because none of the other platforms will do the AI marking for free. BMI. Okay, here we are. Let's jump straight into it. The given image is a set of bar charts showing the BMI or body mass index for particular age groups of males and females. On the y axis are the percentages 0 to 14%, and on the x axis are males and females respectively. Three different groups are represented: BMIs between 23 and 25, BMIs between 25 and 30, and BMIs between those above 30. For males, they have some values, and for females, there are zeros, which I don't understand the image itself, but the highest rate would be 55 to 64 in general, and the lowest would be the 25 to 35 group. The recording has finished. I don't know what's happened. Let's find out. I do not know how they mark it, but let's find out how it went. I just love experimenting with new platforms, which is really great. Good on you guys for those of you who are developing your platforms. Here we are. Once again, it marked me pretty low for content, which is a bit shite. Let's look at their remarks. You've covered the main categories and provided a general overview of the image. To further develop your description, consider adding more specific details about the image's structure, such as the type of image and the visible elements. Describe the bar chart's layout and distinct color-coded bars. Interesting. Interesting. We will see. Let's go talk about it, friends. It says here 75 out of 90 with the fluency again ranked really high, pronunciation ranked really high, and then content is shite. Let's see you in a minute. So there you have it, folks. We have tried 3 different platforms. Across the board, in general, we should be getting well over 80, especially for those of you who are aiming for a 90 out of 90 or an 88 out of 90 for speaking. Obviously, you will see that quite often I'm not getting a straight 90, even though I am a native English speaker, I teach this, and I'm still not getting the scores I want. Can we trust the platforms? Tried? Today we tried out 3 platforms. We did ApeUni, we did AlfaPTE, and we signed up for Language Academy for the first time. And I was very impressed actually that I didn't have to pay to use their AI software, at least for describe image. I haven't tried anything else. I don't know. In general, it looks like all of them have different quirks and different issues, and none of them are using the actual scale that we need to look at, which is 655. 6 for content, 5 for pronunciation, 5 for fluency. They are just giving you that final score of 90. In general, very happy with it. I believe strongly in my method. I know it might not suit some of you, but it does reduce mental load when you just have a method that works for you. So you might find some other method working for you, the one where you just find 3 uniques and then you talk about that. You might find that my method works, which is the interpretation of top to bottom, left to right, and tell AI exactly what you see. If there is a unique, go ahead and mention it. Whatever works for you and decreases the mental load to increase clarity, pronunciation, and fluency while still covering large amounts of content. I strongly believe in content. Content is king. Obviously, it's 655. It's not like repeat sentence, which is 355. Content is king. So really try to focus on content. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope you found it useful or helpful. And if you haven't tried any of those platforms, go for them. Have a go. Have a go and see how which one seems to work for you best. It's not necessarily accurate. I don't know how accurate they are. I don't know if they're within 10 or 20 points of the final score. We will see. All right. Thank you so much for being here. And I really appreciate all of you who have signed up. And of course, I know a lot of you are actually just old students of mine. Thank you for being here. And I will see you next time. Bye.